Hello, Good Shepherd and Saints Francis and John. I'm Father Lin Nguyen, pastor of St. Francis and John. Happy Advent. Happy Gaudete. This week we prepare with a gospel message for the third Sunday of Advent. Gaudete. Rejoice. A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. When John the Baptist heard in prison of the works of Christ, he sent his disciple to Jesus with this question: Are you the one who is to come, or should we look for another? Jesus said to them in reply, Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind regain their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have the good news proclaimed to them. And blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. And they were going off. Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John. What did you go out to the desert to see? A reed swayed by the wind? Then what did you go out to see? Someone dressed in fine clothing? Those who wear fine clothing are in royal palaces. Then why did you go out? To see the prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it is written, Behold, I am sending my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way before you. Amen, I say to you, among those born of woman, there has been none greater than John the Baptist. Yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Friends, in Matthew's gospel that we just heard, Jesus points to the signs to show John's disciples who he is. Healing of physical bodies and good news to the poor. Jesus points to a new reality, a new era that has surpassed what our eyes can see or minds can imagine. Reflecting upon this gospel, I thought of the comment about Cardinal Francis George of Chicago when he stood on the balcony of St. Peter Basilica along with others at the announcement of our new Pope and the first presentation of the Pope, which was Pope Benedict XVI, to the whole world. Overlooking St. Peter's Square is the ruins of Roman Empire Colosseum. As Pope Benedict was presented, Cardinal Francis was thinking, where was your power? Christ was still standing and livelier, and where was your domination? The Church has survived through the up and down of world dominations, and Christ is still today, tomorrow, and forever. God's grace is still supplying our church to thrive and prosper in her mission to evangelize, to worship, and to serve the poor. This gospel draws us closer to Christ during this Advent season to be focusing upon the faith that we have been given in the immense love that Christ has given to us. Let us not be distracted with the commotions of the world, especially during this time of the year. The embrace of the everlasting power that Christ reigns through his resurrection. Let us come to Christ for healing and peace. Let us come to him for eternal synergy, to ignite God's grace to heal the broken world in us and around us. Here is some family activity to consider. Jesus tells humans a new way of being. But what is it that we hope for? When we look around, we often see the things that are not as they should be. We have to wonder when we see the suffering and death in this world. As a family, talk about time when really bad things have happened. Yet somehow there were some good results. For instance, our Christ in My Home ministry began with our families were isolated in our homes during the COVID pandemic. While so many still suffer the effects of the pandemic, Christ in My Home has opened the discussion of Jesus Christ in our homes. What are some good things that occurred in your family during the pandemic? Did your family members spend more quality time together? Were you able to help others by maybe shopping for them? Or did you maybe call your extended family to check on their well-being? Did you maybe meet some of your neighbors for the first time? As a family, invite God into those dark places when you aren't able to see the goodness that He offers during difficult times. When we are aware of God's presence, new life can come for all. God bless. See you at Mass. Gaudete. Rejoice.